everyone, this is Nina and welcome back to another sewing tutorial. In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a fully lined drawstring bucket bag with an optional pocket. This bag is both beautiful and practical. It is spacious enough to hold your everyday essentials, yet lightweight and comfortable to carry. My favorite feature is the drawstring closure. It keeps everything safe and secure inside the bag while still allowing easy access to your belongings. You can also get creative with fabrics, colors, and prints to make a bag that's uniquely yours. Here are some of the bags I've made with this pattern. I love every single one of them. I shortened the straps on one to make a handheld bucket bag, and I love the relaxed, casual look of the larger one. The pattern comes in two sizes, and in this tutorial, I'll be showing you how to make the small size. Whether you're new to bag making or looking to build your sewing skills, this tutorial is designed to help you achieve professional-looking results. I'll be sharing lots of useful tips and techniques along the way. Now let's get started. After printing out the pattern, I assemble the pages by matching the triangles and page numbers. If you need a little bit extra help putting the pattern together, there is a detailed guide included in the instruction booklet. Each pattern piece also indicates how many pieces you'll need to cut from each material. For this project, I'm using a beautiful blue floral cotton as my main fabric, a blue gingham for the drawstring panel, and a simple cotton calico for the lining. To add a little bit more structure to the bag, I'm also using a 180-gram fusible fleece. There are lots of different options when it comes to interfacing. If you prefer a softer, less structured bag, you can skip the interfacing altogether. You could also use batting and quilt the outer fabric to create a quilted bucket bag. To cut out my pieces, I first iron the fabric and trace the pattern pieces onto the wrong side of the fabric. For the side panels and straps, remember to fold your fabric first and cut on fold to create the full pattern piece. You'll also notice notches marked on the pattern. It's important to transfer these onto your fabric and make small clips at each notch. These markings will help you align the pieces accurately when assembling the bag. Next, I fused the fleece to the wrong side of my outer fabric pieces. I placed the glue side of the fleece against the fabric and slowly pressed from the center outward, holding the iron in place for a few seconds at a time to melt the glue dots. You can see that the fabric becomes much smoother and more structured once the fleece is attached. This is a simple way to add structure to your bag and achieve a more polished finish. Now that all of the pieces are ready, let's start with the shoulder straps. I highly recommend using an iron for this step because it makes the whole process a lot easier and helps to create a neat finish. First, fold the strap in half lengthwise with wrong sides together and press. Open it back up, then fold both long raw edges into the center crease and press again. Finally, fold the strap in half once more along the original crease, enclosing all the raw edges inside, and give it one last press. Next, sew close to the open edge to secure the strap, then top stitch along the opposite side as well. This creates a strong structured strap with a clean professional finish. Now let's move on to the pocket. To make the pocket, place the pocket pieces right sides together and sew around all four sides, leaving a small opening along one edge for turning. Remember to backstitch at the beginning and end of the opening. To reduce bulk, trim the corners before turning the pocket right side out. Here, I like to use a pen to gently push out the corners as well. Next, tuck the raw edges at the opening to the inside and press the pocket flat with an iron. You can stitch the opening closed now if you prefer, but I usually leave it as is because it will be closed when the pocket is attached to the bag, which avoids having an extra line of stitching. You can place the pocket either inside or outside the bag. I'm attaching mine to the outside. Take one side panel and place it right side up. Position the pocket where you like it, or you can use the pocket placement guide included on the pattern. I've already marked my placement area. Once you're happy with the position, pin or clip the pocket in place. Starting at one upper corner, sew close to the edge around the three sides of the pocket, leaving the top open. Remember to backstitch at the beginning and end of your stitching. Now with the pocket attached, we're going to fold the side panel in half with right sides together and sew along the short edge to form a tube. Next, we'll divide the panel into 4 equal sections to make attaching the circular base much easier. Start by making a small notch directly opposite the side seam, then match the side seam to that notch and flatten the panel. This will allow you to create 2 additional notches on either side, dividing the panel into 4 equal sections. We're going to repeat this process along both the top and bottom edges. The circular base piece already includes 4 notches marked on the pattern. Then to attach the circular base, we're going to match these notches with the notches on the side panel, placing the pieces right sides together. After that's done, we're going to clip around the circle, easing the fabric as needed. I like to first put clips at the 4 notches to secure the base, then it's a lot easier to clip around the rest of the circle. Once everything is clipped in place, sew around the circle using a 1 cm seam allowance. This step can be a little bit tricky, but take your time. Sew slowly and adjust the fabric as you go. Small adjustments through the seam will help create a smooth, even result. Don't forget to backstitch at the beginning and end of the seam as well. Once we're done with the main bag pieces, we're going to repeat the same process for the lining as well. The only difference here is that you'll need to leave an opening in the lining so we can turn the bag right side out later. The pattern includes a guide showing where to leave this opening. If you're working with thicker materials, you may find it helpful to leave a slightly larger opening here. As before, divide the lining into 4 sections. Match the notches, clip everything together, and sew the circular base in place. Now that both bag bodies are complete, I'm going to reduce some bulk in the seam allowances. Because the base of this bag is curved, we need to clip into the seam allowance so the curve will turn smoothly when the bag is flipped right side out. To do that, make some small cuts in the seam allowance, but be careful not to cut through any of the stitching. I also trimmed the seam allowance down to 1/4 inch, which is approximately 6 mm, because my layers are quite thick. Remember to clip the curves for both your main bag and your lining pieces. Once that's done, turn the outer bag right side out and leave the lining wrong side out. You can see how nice and neat the curves are looking once we turn the bag right side out. Clipping here really makes a big difference. Next, we'll attach the shoulder straps. Using the strap placement notches as a guide, position the straps on the right side of the outer bag. Before sewing, Make sure that you double check that the straps are not twisted. Then we're going to stitch the straps in place and backstitch at the beginning and end to secure them. Now let's make the drawstring panel. First, we'll need to remember which side is the top side. I made a mark on mine as a reminder. Make sure you have the notches marked on your pieces already. We're going to sew the short edges of the panel, but leave the space between the two notches and sew. If your drawstring is wider than 5mm, leave a bigger opening here by moving the first notch closer to the top side. Remember to backstitch at the beginning and end of each opening to secure the stitches and prevent the seams from unraveling. And we're going to repeat for the other side of the drawstring panel as well. Once both sides are sewn, you should now see an opening on each side of the panel. These openings will be used later for the drawstrings. Because the fabric I'm using is difficult to see on camera, I'll be using a different fabric to demonstrate the following steps. After we left the openings in the drawstring panel, now we're going to hide the raw edges on the wrong side of the panel. We're going to first press the seam allowance open with an iron, then we'll hide the raw edges by folding them inward with the wrong sides facing each other and press them in place. I highly recommend using an iron here because it will keep everything nice and flat and makes the next step much easier. Once the edges are folded in, top stitch close to the folded edges on both sides of the seam allowance. This will secure the raw edges and give the openings a clean, professional finish. And we're going to repeat this for the other side of the panel as well. Now we're done hiding the raw edges away and our drawstring panel is looking nice and neat on both sides. Next, let's create the drawstring channels. Starting at the top edge of the drawstring panel, fold the fabric down by 1 cm or 3/8 of an inch. You can mark this line with a ruler beforehand if you like a more accurate fold. Then we're going to press it with an iron. Next, fold the top edge down again until it covers the entire opening. Make sure to match your side seams as well. Press once more to hold everything in place. Then we're going to sew close to the folded edge to secure. After that's done, we're going to sew a second row of stitching about 1 cm away from the first to create the drawstring channel. If you left a bigger opening in your drawstring panel before, sew further away from the first row of stitching. A tip here for beginners to sew a straight and even line is to mark the second row of stitching with a heat erasable pen before you sew. Now that the drawstring panel is complete, we can begin assembling the bag. First, place the drawstring panel and bucket bag right sides together. Align the side seams of the drawstring panel with the side seams of the bucket bag. The opposite seam should align with the midpoint notch of the bucket bag. Here we want to make sure that all notches are aligned. If needed, you can add a few extra notches to the drawstring panel to help with positioning. Next, clip around the top edge and sew the drawstring panel to the bucket bag using a 1/4-inch seam allowance. Remember to attach the drawstring panel before attaching the lining. Next, place the entire bucket bag inside the lining. The lining should be wrong side out at this stage. Here we want to make sure that we match the side seams in the outer bag and the lining, as well as all of the notches. Then clip around the top edge to prevent the layers from shifting as we sew. Then we're going to sew around the entire top edge using a 1 cm or 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Once that's done, turn the bag right side out through the opening we left in the lining before, tuck the raw edges of the lining opening inward, and sew very close to close it. For a cleaner and more professional finish, I like to top stitch around the top edge of the bag with the drawstring panel to the inside of the bag. I rearranged the layers, ironed, then top stitched around the top edge using a 1/4-inch seam allowance. After that's done, you can trim off any loose threads that you see and your bucket bag is complete. And for the final step, we're going to insert the drawstrings. Here I'm using 2 cotton drawstrings, each measuring 80 centimeters long and about 5 millimeters wide. Starting with one opening in the drawstring panel, attach a safety pin to one end of the drawstring to make threading easier. And we're going to start from the left side of the opening, feed the drawstring through the channel, and continue all the way around the bag until it exits through the same opening on the right side. Make sure the drawstring enters and exits through the same opening. Once threaded, even out the ends and tie a knot at the end. Then we're going to repeat the process with the second drawstring as well. Find the opening on the opposite side of the bag and thread the drawstring through the channel in the same way, entering from the left side and traveling all the way around before exiting through the right side of the same opening. It might feel a little bit tight when passing the second drawstring through the channel because the first drawstring is already inside. Just keep working it through carefully and continue around the channel. Once threaded, even out the ends and tie a knot at the end. To test the drawstrings, simply pull both sides evenly. The bag should open and close smoothly. And that's the finished bucket bag. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and I'll see you next time.